There you go. We connected today. Now is another a few minutes, 5 minutes before to start. We can start right now. So this is the webinar how about how to invest in the film industry with confidence, and of course how to obtain a more than reasonable return on investment. Uh, in a extremely safe environment. So that's the story of creating a safe environment. That's important. And we talk about these risks at the second day of the webinar. This is the number sixth day of this webinar. So, but all the webinar, the video, the webinar video are recorded, and then will be already actually work on it, putting the videos all the days, 6 days, in the page of the webinar. The page is not yet, of course. I think there are a couple of videos already put it on the page, and the page is Mark Talon Investment. No, sorry, Mark Talon Invest.net/webinar des. So DES. DEC, December 24, number 24. So slash webinar DES 24. Okay, now we are gonna waiting more guests coming, and hopefully we will fill up the 500 guests that allow to host. And who if there are people that couldn't make it to get in the webinar, as I said, we have a recorded the old video, and then will be a page available. So eventually, if you didn't register with us and you don't have, you know, you didn't send email, so you can send an email to me, like Taloni, Taloni, so Taloni at one digit, as a digit one, G, like Guillermo del Toro. Guillermo comes in my mind like that way. G, J, like Juan or Jose, V, like Victory, dot net. So this is my email, direct email, and then you can ask me the link if you want. At least you can watch all the video, the 6 days of webinar. So I want now we can start, because we are already 11 o'clock. I just so we said that this webinar we spoke many things. Of course, we spoke about the production, development, the distribution, sales and distribution, the gaps, risks, about the efficiency, organizational focus, and the mechanism, machine. So the entire machine, like a machine that has mechanisms. Each mechanism must be efficient and plugged together with the other in a proper way, adequately, in the way everything works, functions properly, smoothly toward the final goal. Our final goal is to achieve, as I said, reasonable return on investment. So that's the goal, the main goal. And then, as I said, we focus, we analyze the fact of gaps that we usually we encounter in this the entire machine between development to distribution, most of the time is a distribution, the distribution gap, that there is not proper, efficiently set, plugged together with the production, all production, because that gap, because create uncertainty, absolutely creates uncertainty toward the final goal of the film product. So that's what we said until now, so far. And then that's why, because the distribution sales must be already organized since the beginning, related to the scope. It's not just by the fluke. Usually that's what's happened, by the fluke, because first of all, production, they don't have distribution, so they focus on the film. I want to make a nice film, beautiful movie, great motion picture, and then after that, they think that having a good product, you can find a distributor easier. In some a certain point is true, but also is a double standards fact, because a distributor, they have to bet on your film. They have to bet on your film. They just fish the film. Oh, that's nice. Oh, okay, let's see. And then they go to sell it, to put in the on the screen. If a theatrical release, they put on the screen. But the fact is, how they put in the screen, what's the strategy, how much money they invest, how they invest this money, because promo marketing campaign is fundamental in any film. Is fundamental. If you see Hollywood movies, they do a massive international promo marketing campaign everywhere. You see everywhere talking short time, like a blast in short time about the film that is going to the theater. So going like, for example, they say they start 2 months in advance, even though 3 months, more, even more, to start to promote the film, because they know how it works. They control everything. They control, and they want to maximize the result that must be high, because as we said, Hollywood studios, they spend mountains of money for the film, for the structure. They have a huge structure, like distribution, production, development. So everything is, under control of the Hollywood studio, especially distribution. So then they study together with the production, the film, the product. They've selected producers. They select for the project to implement the production in the way that they expect, in the way to obtain a certain they believe, they bet in certain product. But then what happened, that this film product, all the Hollywood studio is around, all the output, the whole distribution, the pro marketing campaign is around this production. So that's why the Hollywood studio make money enough, basically. Also spending a lot of money and have a big structure. They're born with that. Who invented the cinema is a Hollywood studio, basically. They, start to, since a century, more than a century exists, the Hollywood studio. They start from there, and they're the one control and like manage eventually the film studio, the film production in the world at that level. But as we said, there's not that. I mean, cinemas, they don't show only that, because it's not enough, because they're no, they every single week need, they have to fill up a lot of films, in US, like there are 5,000 cinemas in US, I think 2 or 3,000, 2,000, more than 2,000 in Italy, 2,000. So in Canada, there are like around 900 theaters. So it's like lot of theater, and every week is that's entertainment. They have to, they spend money because they have a facility, they have cinema, they have the rooms, the theaters, the personnel. I mean, a lot of money is spent. So also that as a machine, they have to work. So and then they need films, and then there is necessary need to go through the independent films. That there are many, actually, eventually there are many independent films on the market, but then happened this problem that some they had to figure it out how to sell their movie. Eventually they found a way, somehow maybe they recoup the money, maybe. So because why? Because there is gaps. So to have an independent film, my model, as I mentioned, is to go in a niche market, but guiding the film product toward the distribution. Is a connection. There is an entire machine in house. So that's how it works, and then that's how you can obtain a reasonable return on investment. As always, we announce. So um, now, so what? So first of all, I introduce myself. I am Marco Taloni, that I run the agency Mark Taloni Investments, exclusively in the film industry. I represent investors actively, not just I'm not a financial advisor. I am an executive on the field for investors. So meaning we guide, we control all the financial process, be on top the actual production and distribution through our associated corporations. So today we said is the last day, and we wrap there. So, but I would summarize again what we have been talking about and highlight the fundamental points for the scope to make a greater return on investment for your ours as well, motion pictures. It means how successfully develop, produce, and distribute a movie in the independent film industry. Also, I want to remind you that we have ongoing an operation. So that's important that we talk about this one, because it's called Operation Three Films. And that this Operation Three Films, because is there are three films project simultaneously to be produced and simultaneously to be carried on for distribution. There is a model, a system, a strategy to carry on this operation. We have already, of course, after later we will go through a bit this project, and we have the three films already ready to go, with production ready to go, and the distribution already with the model already prepared, studied statistically, and plan in details to implement a result for investors. So this is an operation that investor. We open here. Doesn't matter. You only own one investors. Can be hundreds. Doesn't matter, because the investors, they don't just give the money. Remember that they don't give the money in our model, but the investors, they will become shareholders in proportion to the investing funds, owners of the three films, and then they have a binding agreement with the distribution, in this case the 1GJV Media, to carry on for the distribution, the sales of the three films for at least 15 years. 15 years. So to recoup the money, the first year. The second year already recoup the money, because the first year is production. Second year recoup, and the first year of distribution recoup. The second year distribution is gaining 100% guaranteed by the 1GJV Media. So this is a model, an operation very well structured, and as I said, it's important. The investors become owners. How become owners? Because there are agreements. Very, I mean, like binding agreements. Properly, everything proper. All the people involved are properly engaged in this operation, and there is no way you can change anything. That's an operation that actually not help, favor the investors. Investor protect the investors in any direction for production and development, production, distribution. Because the investors, they become owner. How? Not buying anything. So as soon as the operation is on the go, it will be created a corporation based in Canada. It doesn't matter where the investor are from, could be any from anywhere in the world. Um, the corporation is will be created in Canada. Corporation owning the three films by agreement. So then so meaning when the corporation is like when the operation is has green light. Of course, we need money. Why invest? Investing because for the production and a part of the distribution. So the money will be not just give like that. They are poured in the mechanism, in the machine, through the corporation, through binding agreement, and by stages, stages of the promotion and distribution. So not all in one day, but of course, the investor have to be, to guarantee the money are available. Maybe will be an escrow agreement. So we put in escrow agreement, and then step by step, the money will be used for the production and part of the distribution, step by step. And then the same time become owner. At the same time, they are by agreement owner of the film product. So the fact is, the film project is not yet exist. No, exists the film project, but there is an agreement with the authors, the right, the literature right owner in agreement that they are doing, they produce the film, and the same time become owner by the shareholders. And then the production is important to understand the risk, all the risks. Let's see if the production, maybe the produce both disappear. They cannot disappear. But first of all, because they want money. Production, they don't get the money right away. They get money to spend to create the process of production. And the same time, the producer will get his salary step by step, not in one day. So why have to stop? Why have to, they work for money, for those kind of money. That's what they do. All the team, all the cast, all the production team works for that kind of money. They want the money, the investing for the production. So there is no reason. There is no actually. They want to do the best because if they don't do as a plan, they can be replaced in one sec. So there is no way. It's a very secured operation about the production. And then the distribution, there is one GGF media distribution that guarantee by agreement the 100% of ROI, return on investment, and in a limited time. Let me drink a second. So then we they go, and then there is, I mean, the interest. One GG Media, how they can make money? Make money with the distribution. That's how we make money. And they do everything in its power in order to achieve the point, because that's what we want to do. They want to go more, more they make money. So so the 1GJ Media and investors, they have the same goal. And me, that I am the project manager on the operation full time, to represent the investors and representing the distribution, and also controlling the rest of the production and everything else. So this is a very strong, powerful operation. So there is the smallest, now we've said the smallest investors is from $10,000. $10,000 to become part of the operation and become owner. And then, but the operation, the 3-film budget is a $6 million for 3 films at the same time. The investor will become, as I said, owners of the motion picture. That are 3 films which will be simultaneously produced from 3 different producers in agreement with a group, simultaneously distributed. So the scope, we just said that. Everything is planned, organized, with a structure to achieve at least a 100% return in about 2 years of distribution. On the first cycle of distribution, that is in the group of territories between Canada, the US, UK, and Ireland, Italy, Italian. So in this group is the one that will obtain at least 100% of return on investment for investors. These territories are the first to be part of the theatrical distribution, means cinema exhibitions, because 1GJ Media, as I said, operate directly in these territories. This return on investment is guaranteed, again, I can tell you again, in agreement, 1GJ Media, which is the distribution corporation, part of the group, is part of the group, since the beginning. You can contact me by any means, and we can just keep going to this conversation and have a deeper understanding. Operation 3 Films, and as an example of how we should manage a film project or more, with the scope to succeed in the intention to reasonably and realistically maximize an investment in the film industry. We said that we need a machine that includes development, production, and distribution. It's one machine. Yes, we confirmed that basically it's how the Hollywood studios have done for decades. Again, we don't compete with Hollywood studios. We compete only with other independent films for the scope to book theaters that we do by our model that I describe all the way in this webinar. Especially, I think like yesterday I explained more in details, and then you can watch the day 5 yesterday on the page of the webinar. So what's happened? That the webinar, the pages of the webinar, the videos of the recorded webinar is again marktaloninvest.net/webinar DES, DES, December, webinar DES 24, the number 24, the year. So webinar DES 24 / webinar December DES 24. So this is the page where there is all recorded. Already now there are some already online, but still we need to finish today, and then we'll be complete. And eventually tomorrow will be all the recorded webinar days. By the way, if you want, as I said, you want a link, so you can. I'll provide the link. M Taloni at 1 with the number gjv.net. Then when you can contact me, and then I'm gonna send you the link. Then we said that the competition is with other independent films that we'd like to book cinemas. Then, to be successful, we said we must make small money to the cinema owners. And we said that about how yesterday. It's a compelling strategy that it doesn't take up space to cinema because the more space you ask for, the more guarantees they want, of course, and then that's why we have to be efficient, optimize, focusing in the model, because of course a cinema is a business entity that aims to have a good revenue. That's all a business about. They have a lot of expenses. We are not talking about nice films, not just that, artistically champion, etc., etc., which are, I mean, which are components nice to have because that gives some measure of success, of course, at the box office. But we said that we need an average, a good film that fits our territories, that we know that statistically there is a number of people, minimal audience that will go to watch it. That's what we need. So only that success artistically is not enough. Our model doesn't leverage the artistic power of the film, doesn't leverage the artistic power of the film. I just said that. It means we don't aim to be recognized with Oscars, prizes, etc., etc. But also, it doesn't mean that our film is garbage. Absolutely not, because garbage is not sellable. So our films are good products. We study, we read it, we analyzed artistically. We have a proper personnel, director, producers, everybody around that fits with this scope, because they are selected, developed, and produced with the scope of being enough interesting for all our audience that we are going to target. We want to offer something that generates interest, of course. Yes, it might have a greater impact publicly because the contents we choose have some thickness for the public. We do that because we need a sellable product, at least. So our films are definitely sellable. We choose a films project with director, a producer, that all together can be the film project, a sellable product. These are the first package of factors needed to make our film machine run adequately to achieve our scope. But we mentioned that our machine cannot have gaps. We need to avoid gaps. Gaps means a machine that has some part that is not efficient enough, or even missing parts. Our model is bound to avoid gaps because they make our film machine non-suitable for the scope. We don't want gaps. That's our structure. To make it work with gaps is very, very arduous, and we don't know anything about how it will go and what we can get from it. That's the problem. So whoever puts money in films where their organization has gaps, that's very, very risky. It's like going to discover a land that we don't even know if exists. Our model is business oriented, like any corporation for profit, like Hollywood studio, for instance. That's I said we imitate the business, the Hollywood studio, niche market. That's what we want, niche market. But it's enough for us. 100% of ROI. That's niche market. We can get in there. There are no big money. 6 million US in our operation. 3 films. There are 3 films, not 1, 3. In 3 films. I mean, including the startup of the distribution that starts from the beginning. So everything is inside the 6 million US dollars, and that gonna bring, and because there a lot of spending in promo marketing campaigns, organization, like structure in each country. So business oriented, it means that we have an investment on mechanism to make the business achieving its reason to exist, like services, consumer products, material, other services. In our case, is entertainment by developing, producing, and selling motion pictures. So at the end, we need profit. That's meaning business oriented. I created this operation to films, and since I am a filmmaker, and I have been a business developer manager for some decades, and I studied capability maturity models integration, which inspired me to to generate a machine. So I have cough because I got this respiratory. This is running all everywhere in Toronto, at least everywhere. Everybody has this like a respiratory problem. Then I'm good, but still the coughing is persistent. Stay there for even though whatever you take. But I 2 weeks ago I got it. Anyway, I remember last year the same thing. So let's go back. Maturity models integration. So maturity model integration, which inspired me to generate a machine in the film industry, which with higher maturity, and then having this higher maturity, meaning maturity of level of organizational focus, efficiency, mechanism functioning properly, like in proper balance in the way that works to deliver what we need. So I generate a model compatible for a higher maturity level of business output. What does it mean, maturity in a business structure? I just said that. It means that we are a business machine. Such a machine has a mechanisms to make it work. Efficiency, focus, as I said, adequately balanced. I made an example of a racing car. There are several mechanisms to make it run. The business machine has mechanism as well, a components, part of such mechanism. Um, if one component won't work or it's inefficient, will compromise the entire machine, slowing it down or generate a downfall that can bound to a failure. Simple as that. That is the measure of the maturity in the business machine. My model follows this concept. The mechanism and their components must be individuated properly and adapted in an adequate manner that generates efficiency for the business scope. Mechanisms, in our case, are, we said that, development of the entire project, including the artistic components, because there are more than the one. Then we have pre-production, pre-production, the organization of everything, every detail. That's very pre-production is fundamental too, very important too, in very small little detail, schedule, material, personnel, teaming, everything must be organized in pre-production. Pre-production could take maybe more than 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months. Pre-production. Pre-production is basically is where we generate our machine. We blueprints of our machine. Then we go in an execution that is a production of principal photography, meaning shooting the film, following the pre-production, the plan. Then we have, at the end, we have post-production, but post-production, we said, is related to lab, and then there is artistically also followed by the director. There is imagery, CGI, computer image, generate imagery, effect, color grading, etc., etc. So to make a nice output, in the motion picture. So when the film is done and complete, the pace of the scenes, everything is perfectly realized, we have a sorry, we have distribution. So that's a fundamental. So at the end, we have machine, but then what we gonna do with this machine? We have to sell it. That's how we're gonna make money. So distribution, as we said, until so far we talk about this important mechanism. These, as we know, are the mechanisms of the entire business machine. And we called so far film machine. And we said that most of the time, almost always, the independent filmmakers and their investor have a gaps, and especially related to distribution mechanism. Distribution is the sales representatives, the sales agent in general. But let's do no, don't get confused with film sales agent who are the individual dealing with distributors. Let me explain. For example, a clothing company produce clothes and dresses, right? So then after that we have to sell them. What's happened that there are sales representatives dealing with the storefronts, which are the retailers that sell directly to public. So the sales representative presents the product to a retailer who eventually place an order. Sorry again. A retailer who eventually places an order. But in somehow, the film industry has a similar concept. Film production produce motion pictures, then distributor bring a film to cinemas or other platforms and propose it. Then cinemas sell it to public through box office. But in the film industry, we have also a middleman that is a salesman, which proposes the film to the distributor. Distributors, which are similar to sales representative, work similarly as the representative in clothing. So a distributor might have more than a production company to represent and sell what is better to sell. So it happens the same as in clothing. The representatives sell what is faster to sell because the time is limited, because it's seasonal and cannot bring the same product later on. Once proposed and unsold, remain unsold to that store. Distributors have a cost for promoting the film products and literally give priority to the product goes better. Distribution's performance might become a gap. But also completing a film without having already a distributor, it's a bigger gap. And most of the time, that's what happens. Our model is very well set, and it's that we have the distributor as a part of the group, as inside the group, focusing on the the products of the group. Everything goes around our film machine only. We promote and sell to cinemas directly by an internal plan with a structure compatible with the other mechanisms of our film machine. Our racing car is complete, can just turn on its engine and run the race efficiently and making sure that we'll reach the finish line safely and with an average result. We don't compete for the first place. We want only to arrive in the middle of the race table. That's the scope of our film machine. And this scope is definitely satisfactory for the investor with 100% guaranteed in agreement in the first 2 years of distribution. This scope is our goal, and every mechanism and its components are articulated for this precise scope, and eventually with the option to exceed it. But everything is done to get that point. That's our film machine. Distribution is the critical key point to be optimized, to be able to position the film machine with that result. We spoke about our distribution model strategy compatible with our resources with our organization are capable of reaching that result just mentioned. We said that cinema have to smell money, and we do, and we will do, because we'll satisfy its minimal expectation and offering a pro marketing campaign that it will generate much more than minimum forward fee for all the theaters. The distribution must begin is specific business plan as a mechanism of the film machine from the first day of development of an entire operation of the machine. so so that what my operation 3 film is doing. For instance, we spoke about details related to our distribution model. That is model for small budget films by adopting a consistent, relatively massive promo marketing campaign for the 3 films, following a plan of optimization to maximize the effect in all territories. And that's why we bring the films to screens by a scalable structure, by going to territories singularly and dividing them by region. We do this because we need to maximize the pro marketing campaigns, stretching the schedule and focusing fully on each region for all 3 films. In addition, we'll be differentiating the show times for the 3 films. For example, one film for the first week, second film the second week of the month, and the third film of the week number 3 of the month. Only 1 week because we will book only 1 week and 2 weekends, which will be one at the beginning of the week and the second weekend at the end of the week. Extendable in case of higher demand will be present. But we aim for a loosened average. It means an average calculation about a reasonable number of seats sold in 4 shows of the specific day. Average seats are not calculated for the total number of seats of a theater, but we didn't count from the front block that usually remains empty. It means that we really calculate the tickets to sell so precisely that we cannot miss our result. But even though we miss the aim result, one GJV Media guarantees the result, even giving up its fee. That is a model business-oriented for the owners of the film products, for the scope by agreement. The group under agreements will commit with commitments of the entire film machine of Operation 3 Films is made of three producer and their corporations. The executive management of the entire operation, in this case, operation number 3, is me, basically, Mark Taloni Investment Agency. The investors who will have the shares of the film ownerships, the distributor, one GGF Media, that is perpetually attached to film machine. This is a machine that has a solid structure and has a solid scope, a realistic aimed result, a very well endowed strategic plan for distribution, and an organizational focus that is promising to be in the path of success as expected. This is how to make the film industry, let's say a small film, a satisfactory source of income, as we mentioned at the beginning of the webinar. Greater than many other forms of income, or even much more, even much safer and more secure. I'm open to discuss future operations, but right now we are busy committed to this operation 3 films. The 3 films are, first, Tiny Doors, that is a horror art house film. That is very interesting, besides to be scary, yes, but curious at the same time, since it touches the reality behind lies between couples. Then we have the number 2 film is a Two Hearts Run. That is a drama, romance, music. We have music component in it related to a pop rock musician who is giving up everything because his life is in danger. But through love and confrontation, there will be a new discovery. So then we have Displaced Instinct. This is the title. It's a psychological violence romance, which is pretty strong, but highlights also a truth that exists, which is addiction, but not for substances, but for sexuality that can be analyzed in its deepest part. And love is the final cure. I found this film project pretty intense and of an international value that audience from everywhere in the world can be interested to this context. The rest is an organizational focus in all mechanisms to make it true. Again, Operation Tree Film is still open for investors with minimum US dollar 10,000, only 10,000. Amount that would be issued only when the budget is filled with the investors available. It means we need to achieve the budget for the Tree Films operation, and once we have all on board, with commitment, we will start a procedure to make everything legally binding, as I already explained earlier, in terms that we will discuss before completing everything. Actually, the terms can be discussed with me before agreeing to get on board. When the investors agrees to be on board, won't mean that he or she has to issue the funds. Nope. The funds will be deposited in an account after all agreements will be signed, and then everybody's agree. And the account will be under brand new Canadian federal corporation made only for the ownerships of the three films. Each investor will own a number of shares based on the amount of her investment. The capital of the corporation will be exactly the budget reached for the operation, which is US dollar 6 million for the implementation of the entire operation, the three films, which will generate an initial 12 millions of net revenue for the investors in the first 2 years of distribution. Then every year will generate further revenue since 1GJV Media is committed by agreement to bring ahead the three films until all venues and platforms of distribution are exhausted. But 1GJ Media will still keep proposing the films for reruns to obtain further revenue through the royalties. This is almost unlimited revenue. Operation Tree Films is not a solo project. There will be other Operation Tree Films in the following years. I want to conclude, first of all, to thank and congratulate you to be here 500 participants to be here this event, and I will be very glad to engage in more business and with investors who would be interested to talk to me directly and eventually meet in person for this Operation Tree Film. Another important thing is the exit. We have to talk about exit because maybe shareholders they want to know exit. How exit meaning getting out from the deal, or the ownership of the three films. They can exit by selling the shares. We can also discuss how it works. Operation Three Films is an example of a machine made with optimization, efficiency, reality of business, safely conceived as securing funds and revenue. Thank you for your participation, and I will be available for more information and to continue this conversation. So you will have my data here in the non here because when the video will be put online, you will have information. So again, information is to see the all the 6 days, including today again, will be as recorded, and then the recording will be in a specific page. They will line up the 6 days with the video, the recording, and the page is Mark. So my website, Mark taloninvest.net/webinar DEC 24, the number, the year. So webinar des December. So webinar des December, webinar des 24 slash Mark Taloni invest.net webinar des 24. And then, or you can write email M like Mike Taloni, TALONI at one digit, one as a digit, G like like Guillermo del Toro, G, J like Jose, V like Victor, .net. Thank you again and see you the next webinar.